Her name is Dr. Ventris, and she's a psychologist, and she helps get the teams together that are going into the shimmer, which is sort of this unknown, but it's the sort of barrier that's creeping closer and closer to civilization. And none of the teams they've sent in so far have come back. And so she is joining the team because there's just so many times that she can do that without it taking its toll, and she sort of has to know for herself at this point. I read a lot of books in terms of psychology, and also there's a lot of dream stuff in this that I was intrigued by, and I spent a lot of time with Alex and certain bits of music and all different kinds of people going into war and into battle and into people going into the unknown, into places that they are not really prepared for in one way or another. They may be physically prepared but not mentally prepared. What happens under those extreme conditions and circumstances. Nobody does know because no one's come out, and so that's what they're going into, and they discover all these strange morphings inside. And it's very beautiful, but also you don't know what's safe and what isn't, and what's dangerous and what's benign. And that it keeps creeping closer and closer, and so we don't know if the need is to destroy it or to let it be. We don't know even what it is, and we only know where it stems from or where it began. So the object is to get to sort of the center of it. Well, I loved Ex Machina so much. I saw it twice, and then I read the script, and I knew that Natalie was doing it, and I've been just a fan of hers for a very long time. She's so honest and just deep, and I really just admire her so very much, and I loved the idea of doing something that was all women. And Alex's vision is so interesting to me, what goes on in his mind and how he creates these worlds that are so dramatic and beautiful and terrifying, but feel possible in some way. It was really, even though the environment was challenging, we were actually in the woods, and we were in a tent a lot of the time between takes, and it was an incredibly good group of women, just really strong, really funny, to the point of being hilarious, and also just smart and kind and lovely. It was a really great group of women, and so it was great acting with them. It was great hanging out and being, in a tent with them, and having dinners together in town. It was really nice. It was great. It's great when it's a really small ensemble like that, and something about it, especially if it's a nice group, which this was an incredibly nice group. Walking through all that mud with those heavy backpacks, and some of the women had no problem at all. For me, it was really rigorous, but yeah. And sometimes the things that would happen sort of off camera before we would go into something very dramatic, that would be so funny just to see. Tessa and Gina would be they'd have this whole dance worked out, and these characters that they were doing that had nothing to do with the movie at all, but with these machine guns, and it's just there was a lot of levity, strangely enough, and it was nice, it was nice to have that kind of balance in the depths and the darkness of those jungles. I hope that people will be really intrigued, and I hope it will provoke a lot of interesting conversation, and that people will want to see it again to see if they can where the clues are early on and things like that. And I think it's a disturbing movie in many ways and an upsetting movie, but it's also kind of inspiring in a certain way, I think. If the shimmer were real, I don't think I would be going inside. Fortunately, in this, like, you have to volunteer. I would not be. If it were real, I would not be volunteering to go in there. Yeah, I don't want to see any of that.